How's it going, everybody? Reservoir Wolves here. Today we're going to be reviewing Handmaid's Tale Season 2. It's just going to be me today, Mike, and I'll get to why Anthony couldn't join us in just a second. So this is going to be a spoiler review. There are going to be spoilers in this because I don't think there's any way of just getting around that. So I'm just going to jump right in. This is a very, I just finished watching the last episode of Handmaid's Tale Season 2. And I just have to get my thoughts off my chest. I did not like it. I hated it. I found myself wishing it to be over by episode 7, and that's why Anthony's not joining us, because Anthony, he was so fed up with that show that he just, in the last episode, he's like, wake me up and tell me what happens after, because it got so boring. Season 1 was awesome. You don't need to have a show full, fluffed with action for it to be entertaining. Season 1 had a lot of emotion into it, and this one has a lot of emotion too, but it's just very inconsistent. I felt like in season 1 the people reacted believably and they were consistent. They would react the way you'd expect them to react, and there was some depth to each character. Obviously, June is, the handmaid. She has every reason to be feeling the way she feels. She has every right to hate Serena and to hate the commander. But the commander, as disgusting as he is, there were some times there where he was, he would talk and play Scrabble with June, and there was something about how, he's obviously a very evil guy, but there's something about villains that, talk to the protagonists and even treat them with with some kind of respect. It kind of gives them a little more depth, and it makes them a little more interesting, And then you kind of see that the commander, he even says it at some point to June that he even takes June out to a freaking a club at some point. You can tell that he doesn't really believe all this crap that Gilead is doing, and he's obviously just using it to fulfill his own evil agenda. And the same thing with Serena. You can tell that deep down inside, these people can't really believe the extremist religious crap, and then all that depth is just thrown away in season 2. He is just straight up evil. He's just wants to beat women, and it just doesn't make any sense. I got to a point where I was just like, okay, but what's the point here then? What are you guys trying to accomplish? It just got really annoying. It just got really flippy floppy. And then with Serena too, and Serena, the whole, season 2 tried doing this whole thing with Serena and June. June should hate this woman. Hate this woman. And then they'd have these little montages where June would help Serena editing documents, and then they're having fun. I'm like, no, what? This girl rapes you with her husband every once a month. I'm sorry, there's no getting over that. I don't care what she has you doing around the house. No. It was just kind of things like that I felt like these humans weren't acting the way humans were supposed to be acting. It was kind of, it's a perfect example of the script, getting ahead of itself. And that's another thing. June is spoiler, June escapes in the first episode, or maybe it's the second episode, I don't know. And then there's another episode or two of her finding herself again as a woman and as a person, and mourning for what's happened to her. She even burns the, what do they call them? They put it on the head, the wings. And then obviously it's very symbolic, and it's a very touching moment. She's getting rid of that part of her life. And no, she gets captured again. I was just okay, why are we doing this again? Why are we... I felt like that was really good progression for a story. It has to progress, and I felt like this story did not progress. I felt like it went sideways. It didn't go back. Obviously she escaped and then went back, but the story didn't go back. It just went sideways. I feel like they're trying really hard to expand on the whole. Yes, Gilead is terrible. These people are going through terrible things. If you're a woman, everything sucks. If you're gay, everything sucks. If you cheat, everything sucks. And I get that, and that's what made season 1 really, really powerful. Whenever they would expand on that, and they would just throw that brutal brutality of Gilead that had on these people, it was rough. But then this season was just too bleak. It was just like they're just like beating a dead horse. It's kind of like how it's going with Walking Dead. Walking Dead now, it's like everything is bad and everyone dies and there's just like no hope. And in this one, I just feel like it was just they're just really trying to show you how terrible these people are. And like we know they're terrible. Like we know Gilead sucks. We don't need to keep doing that. So anyway, so then June escapes and then gets captured again, and she's a handmaid again. And then she just started her performance. I forgot the actress's name. I love her. Her performance is great. I think she got nominated for an Emmy this year, and she deserves it. But God, her character was just all over the place. And she would just her and her boyfriend in the show, not her husband, not Luke, the guy, the guardian, Nick, the one who's always there with her. Aren't they supposed to be like secretive about their relationship? They're like basically fucking on the table every 3 seconds. Like y'all gonna get caught, and and in season 1 you felt like there was a real sense of dread, and caution. Like they would always they wouldn't even talk to each other in the house. They were like they'd whisper and hide. And this one they're like all over each other. And me and my Anthony would just sit there and be like, "Yo, what the fuck are you guys doing?" So it's an example of how these people, they didn't act the way they should have been acting. And I'm not sure if it's like the classic case of running out of source material, because I know that Handmaid is based on a book, which I have on audiobook. I haven't started reading it yet. So I'm assuming, in my opinion, maybe the showrunners are trying to expand a one book into multiple seasons, which is fine. But I really feel like they missed an opportunity here. When season 1 ended, obviously there's a cliffhanger what happens to June. But and obviously that could have gone either way. I would have been fine with her just not being free, and her just staying there, or her being free. But what I wanted to know more about, the lore of Gilead and America, and like every part in season 2 where they would mention, oh, what's left of America. Like I was like, yeah, what's left, There's even a part there where the commander is looking over a map, and parts of the map of the United States, and some of it is red, some of it's yellow, some of it's blue, and some of it has like nuke signs on it. I'm like, yeah, like what's going on? I had to like pause it and like flip and take a picture of it and flip my phone around to try and see what's going on. I couldn't decipher what was going on, but I wanted to know more about that. And there's a part when Serena is in a Canadian bar, and then some American, I think I could swear the guy's like a spy or something, is talking to her about America and what's left. And one thing I can decipher was that Hawaii is still America. But that's so cool. Like I really thought they could have totally built upon like the whole resistance feel, the whole like who's fighting back to get America back in control of America. And there's that part where June's listening to the radio in the car, and she hears like a radio station and some lady talking about America, and she says that we're still here. That literally made me tear up. But that was like the best part in like a 3-episode span. That whole episode where June is like hiding in the house, and she might give birth, she might not. That episode was pointless. I mean, if someone can tell me that the meaning behind that whole episode, beyond freedom and temptation, please let me know. She finds a wolf like 2 times in that episode, and then Nick gets captured. She has a gun pointed at Serena and the commander. So much happens in that episode, yet so little, and it was just frustrating. I don't know. Yeah, it just felt like a soap opera, and it just got really, really boring for such a show full of like of really dark themes and something that should be full of tension. I just didn't feel that at all. I just wanted it to be over. I wanted to be able to say, oh, okay, let's just get through this. Let's just finish it. So I'm assuming that the showrunners are just stretching this out a couple seasons, because I think there's only 1 book, so they're trying to do that. I don't know, and I wasn't impressed. I mean, I was impressed with the performances. Just wasn't impressed with the story from a narrative perspective at all. I felt like it fell flat multiple times. It was very inconsistent. I felt no sense of urgency. I felt like we were supposed to be scared of Gilead. I really wasn't at some point. Again, in season 1, I thought Gilead was terrifying. Here they were just a bunch of incompetent idiots, and the story was all over the place. Like I said 100 times, I'm all over the place too. But then again, I don't have 2 years to sit here and write this like they do for this show. And the soundtrack was whack. I mean, in season 1, the soundtrack was awesome. Like it was just there's a lot of contrast. They'd have like a really hip hop song or something playing during a dramatic scene, and I was like, that's awesome. And there was just some parts in season 2 that are really honestly just pointless. We don't need to keep going back and having flashbacks. Like we really don't. Okay, there's a flashback of Serena getting shot at a college protest. Why? Why do we need to see that? We don't care about Serena. I feel like the show tried to make us care about Serena, and we don't. The actress is great. I love her. She was in Dexter. I love her. I think she's perfect for this role. But the show doesn't know what they want to do with her. They don't know if they want us to hate her, feel sympathy for her. Like we understand that she's a woman and she wrote a book, and now she's in this society that women can't even read. But bro, you helped make this society. Like what the hell did you expect? And then she sits there and helps her husband rape this girl every month, and then she'll try and be nice to June so that the baby can grow up in a loving house. Like who are you kidding? There's nothing loving about this, And she'd be nice to June 1 second and not nice to June, and then June would be nice to her, but then like smirk at her and say these little like one-liners. It's just like, what? How is everyone not having an aneurysm right now? It's just very unbelievable. Like the way people reacted was just very unbelievable. I don't feel that's the way people would act in real life especially under those circumstances. The only person I found myself really, really liking was Nick. I felt really, really bad for Nick the entire season. He had to marry this 15-year-old girl. So yeah, the show was really still trying to drive in the whole sick and dark factor of the show. It wasn't bad enough that we had to watch a husband and wife rape a woman once a month, but now we had to watch a society force, underage women on grown men. It was nasty. It was just, you don't need. It was just tasteless in my and I. It's really hard to push that button with me because I love all these shows. I love Dexter, Game of Thrones. I love dark shit, but that's just like ugh. Like they could have just had it where we know they're gonna get married. We know they're gonna have to. God, what's the word when you have sex when you're married? Oh, it's gonna kill me. Whatever. Oh God, it's gonna kill me. Whatever. And I remember like there was that scene where they get married, and then they cut to another scene, and then like another episode later goes by, and I go to Anthony and like, oh, thank God, they're not gonna make us watch, them having sex because that's just gonna be weird. And then no, here we go, and then they have like a sheet there in between the hole there. I was like, bro, what does this add to the story? And I don't see it. I get that Gilead is weird. Like I said, the story went sideways. Instead of it being, okay, June is going through this terrible oppression in Gilead. All these women are going through all these terrible oppression, just gender traitors and all these crazy rules. And then she maybe escapes, and then she does escape, and then she goes back. And then instead of it expanding, the story goes sideways. And it just tries beating a dead horse, in my opinion. And then in the end, June has a chance to escape with Nicole, her daughter, and instead decides to stay and give the baby to Emily, who she didn't even know was gonna be there. So she just made up her damn mind to stay. What, bro? I'm not excited for that. What? Why? And I know her reasoning. It's I want to stay. I'm not leaving Hannah. Bro, we already had a whole scene of you talking to yourself on a plane saying, Hannah will forgive me and I'll come back for her. So now you're abandoning your daughter to this. I mean, I love Emily. Emily is probably one of my favorite characters, but she's not exactly the most mentally stable person right now. She's been through hell. You're abandoning your daughter to this girl, and you're going to stay behind. You're going to get shot on sight. You just stole a baby. Junior, pushing your luck, like, what are you going to do? And then she puts her hood over her head, and it's a cool scene, but I was audibly shocked. I'm like, you've got to be fucking kidding me. What are you gonna do? What are the options here? You're gonna be some kind of like ninja and somehow get Hannah out of a country? Nah, you're gonna get caught again, and then we're gonna have another season of this drawn out, dramatic, dark Gilead shit. Gilead sucks. Life sucks crap, and like it's over. Like it's over for me. You know, I was literally fast forwarding throughout the last episode. I would be okay. They're talking again. Okay, fast forward. And I've never done that in a show, at least not in the last 10 years. It was just rough, man. So yeah, so now season 3 we have that to look forward to. What else? What else did I just not like about that show, man? Yeah, I mean, you guys let me know what you guys think. I haven't had a chance to go online and see how other people are reacting to it. I've been avoiding this topic online just so I don't get spoiled. But yeah, I'm just really not impressed with season 2 Handmaid's Tale. It was, if I could sum it up in one word, it'd be boring as hell. But whatever. All right, guys. Well, thanks for listening to my rant. We'll get Anthony in here next time once he wakes up from his nap. I'm sure he's having nightmares about that show right now. Yep. So thanks for joining us, guys. And if you like this video, please like and subscribe. And we'll see you guys next time. Thanks.